All right, let's see. All right, Tony, what's up, man? Hey, welcome to the show. This is Chat with Gunner. This is episode 117. This was going to be 118, but our show on Thursday, the volume messed up. So it just made perfect sense that we had an episode on Thursday. So, hey, man, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a little bit, we're getting to your background, and I want to ask all kinds of questions because we don't know each other. Like, we just had a couple exchanges on Twitter.
And we literally
Um,
just met.
literally just met. So this is the best way to kind of start out a conversation, I believe. So like I said, this is on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So if anybody's listening right now, hey, please share this out so other people can hear it. I've got a bunch of wrestling people that follow me, a bunch of business people that follow me. So this should be interesting. But hey, first of all, let's talk about your weekend. You just got back from where?
I was in Ohio doing the Ohio Fan Fest with Kurt Angle.
Cool. Now you said you're Kurt Angle's manager, I guess, when he's
I'm,
doing these
I'm,
shows.
I'm one of his managers. Yeah, we actually, I handle a lot of his bookings for him. So we do a lot of pop culture shows, Comic Cons, personal appearances, private signings, that kind of stuff.
Okay, really cool, really cool.
So
So y'all were which Comic Con were y'all at, or which
it was
convention?
in Ohio. It's in, I think it was Girard, Ohio. We flew into, he drove because it's only an hour drive from Pittsburgh. I
Sure.
flew into Cleveland, and we got a car service picked up and over there. So it was in Girard, Ohio. But in the last 3 weeks, we've done. We were over in the UK 2 weeks ago. We did a tour over in the UK.
Wow. Okay.
We did London, Liverpool, Belfast, Dublin, Cork, and Glasgow.
Wow. So busy.
Yeah, it was busy. So I've done a lot of traveling the last 3 weeks.
Well, hey man, that's really cool. Well, all right, let's jump into a little bit about you because I ran across you on Twitter. You have a really cool wrestling trading card.
Thank you.
I guess Persona Online, and then I look at it, and you've been doing it since 2002. So you're 20 years in the wrestling trading card game. So kind of just tell me how you got into it, when you fell in love with the hobby, and how you were so far ahead of the curve of the boom of wrestling trading cards that we're seeing.
Well, WTC, as we call it, which is WrestlingTradingCards.com, that we are celebrating our 20th anniversary this year, but it actually predates that. So before that, it used to be called ComCollect. And then because it kind of covered a lot of different things besides just wrestling, it was kind of more non-sporty type stuff. And then I just kind of trickled it down to just wrestling, which I've been collecting myself for, I don't know, since 1985. So,
Sure.
but I was a sports card collector like most boys were when they were kids like that. I collected baseball, a little bit of football, no real basketball. And then when I got my first taste of wrestling cards in '85, that '85 tops, maybe '86, and then doing some GPK stuff, Garbage Pail Kid stuff too,
Yeah.
And then I just it's something I grew up in. I was a wrestling fan as a kid. I went and got to see Andre the Giant and Freddie Blassie, all those guys wrestle when I was a kid in Los Angeles, and then just kind of fell in love with it and just started collecting from there, and developed a website because at the time I couldn't find information or very good information online. It's late '90s, so not a whole lot, anyways, but to help me identify what I had or what I was missing, and then when eBay came around, of course, and that kind of opened my world to a lot of other things. I just started archiving everything. My personal collection became WTC in the beginning. So anything I picked up, I just archived it. I kept a record of it and put it up there for other people.
Cool. So your website's pretty much a set list or a checklist
It's a
when it
checklist
comes
website.
to
Yeah.
checklist website for all things wrestling related.
Wrestling trading cards only.
Okay.
So
So
we
wrestling,
are
so
wrestling
just
trading
the
cards.
sport.
And it's kind of, we've deviated a little bit because a lot of wrestling card collectors will also collect stickers because they come on cardboard usually, and you peel them off. I know Paul Nunn, who's kind of like my counterpoint with the wrestling card price guide. We go hand in hand with each other. He kind of gone off and done like Valentine's Day cards and other little things like that. If it's on cardboard, we kind of archive it, and we've got a great team of people now that are kind of out there looking and scouring the earth, looking
Right.
for wrestling cards that we don't have on the website, or to correct things or update things. And even today, before you and I just jumped on, I tweeted out, about a product from 1990, the WWF Classic set, and how, hey, just so you guys know, there's some cards that don't have copyright dates in the back of it. And it's like someone commented, like, after 32 years, this card's been out, set's been out for 32 years, and even the experts are still learning things about this stuff. And it's just an evolving thing.
Sure. So who are like the top guys in, I guess, the wrestling aspect of trading cards? Because just so a little background, it's like my 6-year-old just got into like Pokemon cards and all that from watching these YouTube channels where these guys that I guess are my age and a little bit older. So I'm 31 and my little bit older to like, I guess they're getting back into it because it's cool and they're taking their kids to these like sports card conventions and they also have like wrestling and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever cards they have out there. So he's into that. So that got me back into like my old sports card collection and now looking into like wrestling cards. I'm a big wrestling fan, been wrestling for my whole life. I do pro wrestling. So it's just one of those things where we really enjoy it and we kind of bond over it. So who are the top guys in the wrestling space in the trading card game?
Who would you? I want to throw it back at you. Who would you think would be a top guy for wrestling?
Are we talking about like actually like a card? Or
Yeah, card. Like, just top guys in the history of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like some of your top cards are going to be like your Hogan rookies and your
Yep.
Flair rookies, which
Yep.
I guess there's a little bit of confliction on that because some people think it's like the 85, but then you got people that think it's like the 82.
Yeah,
Or if you
and
can find it, right?
there's even some older, like Hogan's got an '81 Poppy from Japan, it's like that, and people would say like, oh well, Andre's rookie card be 87 tops. Like, no, he's got card dating back to 1978 or 74 or something like that. So
Right.
it's rookies is tough when it comes to wrestling. You'll get some who are purists by the old Beckett definition of like if it's not pack pulled and it's not really truly a rookie kind of thing. Others are like, well, it's Kane before he was Kane, he was Isaac B. Yankem, so that says, so it doesn't really apply to wrestling, and the market's always going to dictate anyways what is going to be the valuable card. And the our 52 tops, our 86 Fleer, for us from wrestling is going to be the 82 and 83 All-Star sets that
Gotcha.
came out. So that's it's got Andre, that's got Flair, it's got Hogan. Those are your top 3 ones, but there's other cards that are doing surprisingly well in those sets now. I mean, that first 82 All-Star sets got some great talent in it that in high grades, which is hard to do for that set, are commanding thousands of dollars. Now, and the thing with wrestling, though, and here's the thing with wrestling, speaking of dollars, the thing with wrestling that doesn't appeal to a lot of people sometimes, especially when it comes to people who are investing, is because, and I've said this for years, is that there are not enough zeros behind the numbers. We don't have $1 million card in our hobby. Hell, we don't even have a 6-figure card in our hobby. Not yet, but we're getting close.
Getting real close.
And it's just it's growing. And with Panini jumping into it now, Upper Deck with the AEW license, we got the Prism boys, as I call them, coming in here. Just come in the first 2 weeks and just upsell everything. And so new benchmarks have been made, and more eyeballs are on our product. That's what I like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as a guy that's been doing it, since the mid '80s, it's really cool to see what's happening right now. And I guess, and like, you can correct me on anything that I'm just kind of seeing from very high up. So the Panini or the Prism set that just came out, I guess it was WWE's first Prism set. I was looking at the hobby boxes. My plan was I'm gonna pick up a hobby box. Shouldn't be that bad, maybe a couple $100. Dude, these hobby boxes like out the gates, 1,800, and then down to 15. But then it was like every week, 1,200. 1,100.
Oh yeah.
Now they're like down to like what, $600 to $800 for a hobby box.
Somewhere in that range, yeah. They dropped big time. And some people predicted this. Some people, like, I'm not going to profess that I predicted that because I didn't. What I did talk about a lot was, and I've always talked about this, I didn't care that was Prism or not. With any product, it's just be calm. Wait. Especially when things come out right at the gate, everybody has to have it first. The FOMO always kicks in with people. But there's some who knew all about Prism and said, hey, don't be paying those kind of high prices. This product's going to come down. Others were saying, well, look what UFC did when the UFC stuff came out. Now those boxes are like $2,000 a box. It's like that. Wrestling is a different beast. It just is. It's a smaller crowd of people. We kind of all know each other. All the players kind of know each other. It's always exciting when we see new people coming in. But I mean, Prism's changed the game for us, not necessarily in a good way either. So there's a lot of division. There's a lot of division in the hobby now. I don't have a lot of experience in other sports cards. I have non-sports. I could talk to you all day about non-sport stuff. But sports, I know names, I know brands, I know things like that, but I didn't collect a lot of that stuff since, I guess Upper Deck's second or third year. Um, it's just um, uh, wrestling is just different in that we have a smaller group of people, and now what's happened is because of Panini Prism, we have people who've never had experience with wrestling before coming into our hobby, creating, whether it be a false market or not. Um, uh, People are like, oh well, it's just it's not going to last that long. Okay, it's not going to last long. Yeah, we like the fact that people are looking at our product, but this stuff is not comparable to the vintage stuff, and vintage collectors don't like new stuff, and new people don't like. I mean, the vision wasn't really there before, and now it just seems to be there. And hoping that it kind of settles down a bit, but we'll see.
So I guess when I'm looking at some other sports as well, like I love football, played football in college, love, not really love collecting baseball. Some of the older guys kind of turn me on as far as the baseball cards and basketball, but really football for me. You got like you said, you got the vintage collection, the guys that have been, collecting the below 70s and up in, the 1918s or whatever it is, trying to find those cards. And then you got the junk wax era that kind of, I guess, bogged everything down, where in the late 80s, early 90s, when it was really, really cool and popping, and they were trying to make a quick lick.
Sure.
And then it kind of died for years, right? Almost everything
Yep.
died. And then 2020 comes and boom, it's back. And then it explodes with the market. And now 2021, early 22, you're seeing almost like another junk Axware, except it's with like parallels and Panini and these prisms and all these sets.
What people have to realize too is that new benchmarks, new floors have been established now. So we're not going to go back pre-pandemic to where things were $10 a card for a certain card that have jumped to $150. Now they've probably settled down to that $40 price range or something like that, maybe 30. But it's not going back down to 10. So we have new floor. No. We have new floors to work with, which is great. Sure. So we have a new place we can build upon, it's like that, and we have more, like I said, more eyeballs on our product. So it's just a matter of time before we have someone who hits a card that's going to probably hit that six figures, and we can debate about that all day, what card that's going to be. But it's just yeah, I mean, everything, the hobby's always gone up and down,
Sure.
So,
yeah,
the pandemic brought, I mean, that's why I've always said, like, when I do a podcast with Zan Morning, we do one called Worlds Collide, and our bumper intro is basically me going like, it's like a stock market, because that's what I've been saying for decades. It's like a stock market. It's got to know when to buy and when to sell.
Yeah, it's very similar to the freight market. That's what we do on a regular basis over here. It's always up and down, and it's never going to stay the same. I want to get to this question real quick from Travis Trueblood. He says, do the wrestlers that go through New Japan have higher value cards?
Well, that's a great market right now, because people are discovering that there's a lot of current talent, or even some of your legends like your Rob Van Dams or your Mick Foley's, as Cactus Jacks. Some of these guys had earlier cards from like BBM and stuff like that from Japan. So these cards are kind of now becoming like in demand. People were like, last year we had Nick Gage was the king of the death match guys like that. And all of a sudden they put him on national television against Chris Jericho on TV here. And it's like, who the hell's Nick Gage? Like, well, he's been wrestling for 20 years. Like, no way. He's like new, but he has an old New Japan BBM card from 2000. Right. So, wow. Yeah, the demand for that's going up quite a bit. We've got a couple of guys that do a lot of research for us that get us that information, because that's something I've always wanted to have more information about for the website, was Japanese cards. It was so hard to find someone who knew it. And I found someone who's really good at it. And I'm happy to start adding that stuff on there. But, even stuff like 1997 ECW cards are like near impossible to find a complete set of those things.
Huh.
They're from Japan. They were made by BBM. They were inserted in VHS tapes. And it's just, they're hard to find.
Yeah, that is, the scarcity makes the price go up, right? That's
yeah. I mean, you have stuff that are like, Taz and BWO and Tommy Dreamer's in there, and Raven, and these guys are like, these are some early cards of these guys that people like. They're beautiful designs. People love that stuff, and it's just, they're hard to come by.
So you were talking right before we asked the question about like the most popular card, of the card that might be the six-figure card in wrestling. And you said we could debate this all day. If you had to give it a guess and take three cards that you think might be pulled here in the future, or even the vintage cards that might reach six figures, which cards are we looking at?
If anybody ever were to pull him, David Peck would be the guy to talk about when it comes to this set. He's the expert at it. Him and Rob England. If anything from that 82 All-Stars, if anybody ever hit, because it hasn't been one yet, a PSA 10 Hogan. There isn't one that exists yet. But if anybody got one, that has a great potential to be a six-figure card.
Didn't I see the PSA 9 Hogan just
Yes.
hit the pop report like last week?
PSA 9 Poppy card. That was a 1981 Poppy
Oh,
card.
okay.
That was
Gotcha.
also it popped as a 9, and it was autographed by Hogan too.
Wow. So what'd that card go for?
I don't. It's somebody's personal collection.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, cool.
he's been very proud of it and posting up on social media, and we're all kind of like, man, that's amazing. That's just an amazing card you got there.
Right. All right. So what's the other two you'd be looking for?
For me, anything that's going to have something to do with The Rock. So whether that ends up being a 98 Superstars autograph card, that's his, first authentic autograph card, came out from Comic Images in 1998. Whether it be that, which is just going to be super hard to get graded, because Comic Images put on really thick card stock, and that stuff cracked pretty easily. So trying to
Gotcha.
find something with no frayed ends would be really hard. But and some might argue, say, oh well, maybe his Bumblebee football card from University
I was
of
about
Miami.
to say. That's
But
what I was about to say.
That's a football card.
True. Because what's that? I mean, that's a $35,000 card right now in the higher grade.
Yeah, well, somebody didn't one sell for almost 90 grand PSA 10.
Oh no. Yeah, I think you're right. You're
I
absolutely
think one
right.
sold for almost 90 grand once. And
Dude,
so I mean,
there was a
that's
raw
close.
card for like $6,000.
Yeah.
Like one that was like ripped out, so it had like the puzzle like looking pieces
Sure.
to it.
I mean,
Crazy.
I think there's a couple guys out there have an uncut sheet.
Dude, and think about that. It's got Ray Lewis on it.
Got a Ray
It's
Lewis on there
ridiculous.
too.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
But
Like
it's
I
just,
would give anything for that set.
but it's got to be something Hogan. It's got to be something Rock. These are two polarizing figures that transcend the sport itself.
Sure.
And then you go to somebody else. Maybe Ric Flair, maybe Andre. I mean, you never count on Andre. My dark horse running for someone who's going to hit a six-figure card one day is when the day that Vince McMahon passes away. After that, some of these one-of-one autograph cards of his that rate really high. I think someone got a PSA 10 on his autograph on a one-of-one, I believe.
Oh wow.
That's got to go. That's got to go for six figures at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you got Dana White cards in the UFC going not that high, but close to that high, and he's nowhere near the legend and that Vince McMahon is as far as
That's
in the
true.
wrestling community,
That's
right?
true.
So I mean, that's got to be close. It's got to be real close.
But even modern guys. I mean, this modern product has caused a big spike in pricing right now too. So a lot of Roman Reigns cards are going for mad money right now. Even stuff
Right.
numbered to 50. I mean, gold is king right now. Anything that's gold parallel, that stuff is king. I mean, it's just
Gotcha.
insane pricing on stuff like.
Well, I saw some big prices on like Triple H and I guess one of those like a auto championship series or whatever from Prism. Is that what they are? I don't know exactly which.
Yeah, I mean,
insert
Prism
it
has a
is.
lot of stuff. I mean, I do a monthly report for my podcast with Paul from the Price Guide. We sort of we kept Panini stuff on its own separate top 10 because we usually do a top
Gotcha.
10 of every month. We do a top 10 of what the biggest numbers were according to eBay or verifiable stuff.
Sure.
There's been talk that there's been some Rock ones from Panini that sold in the $20,000 range. Some of these parallels, but it's based off of I know a guy who knows a guy type story, and
Gotcha.
we can't really validate that kind of stuff. So if we have no proof of it, we just can't really count that. So we've had several cards from Panini hit in the 15K range, 12K, 15, 10, 11, 9. So I mean, we've had more 4 and 5 figure cards from one release and all of the releases combined, basically.
Now, do you pull most of the comps from like eBay and stuff like that? Is that one way?
eBay and what was it, 130 point or something like that too, as well, to confirm something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, and eBay as well. But some of that we have to get confirmed. We try to contact the buyer and seller to. I mean, that's not really my thing. I'm not a pricing guy. First off, I should probably even preface that first. I'm not the pricing guy. I just chronicle information. I gather information. Paul is the price guide, so he'll go out and gather information. And once a month we get together and kind of talk about it. But I learn from him when it comes to pricing stuff. But
so what's your process like? How do you go out and kind of figure out what's happening?
I have a team now. Before it was all me and my partner David Porto, who is a co-owner of WTC. Sort of been taking a sabbatical for a while, so like that, family and so that comes first. But I have a great team this time. Before it was just me and him, him and I, and then mostly him for many years. It was just him. I just kind of handed him the reins, taught him how to update the website, and he kind of did it all himself for a long time. I'd throw information at him and he added to the checklist. Then it sat dormant since 2014. We sort of just let it go in 2014. We paid for it every month. God knows my bank account kept paying for it every month.
Sure.
But it never got updated until 2020.
Wow.
I did my first little YouTube clip. Thought, why not give it a try? See if anybody has any interest in it. And it got a good response. People are like, oh, you're bringing it back? You're going to update it? You're going to bring it back? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. And now with some of the core collectors over the years, I got Chuckster, I've got Paul, I've got Armand, I've got Rich handing stuff from Japanese. We have a good, solid team of people who are constantly out there gathering information, verifying things, and then submitting to me because I still handle all the back end stuff. So the website gets updated by me, but they go out and get the information. They put it in the format that I like to have so I can copy and paste, make my job easier.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just feel like now we're kind of at the point again, like we used to be. We're back at the point again where grading companies are using our website to authenticate these cards. And now
Oh.
I'm back to getting emails from, in the last 2 weeks alone, I've gotten emails, several from PSA, several from Beckett, SGC. They're asking like, hey, we saw in your checklist this, can you verify that? They're asking for information to validate things from submissions that people are sending in.
Now, is that just like a buddy system, or is this become profitable at some point?
It's this the entire website right now has always been a labor of love. So that's what it's been. It's never been about
Cool.
money. Never been about money. However, in full transparency now, is I because of the costs for the website, it's always been out of my pocket. I did a fundraiser last year. I produced my first trading card of Kevin Nash. I've known Kevin for a long time, so Kevin agreed to sign a bunch of cards for me, and we sold those to help use to pay for the site.
Cool.
So it helped out. So all the money that was made from that went right back to either covering the cost and then helping whatever's left over to pay for the site.
Really
Um,
cool.
and then I did a T-shirt design with this was actually behind me. The graphic behind me here was supposed to be a shirt card, but the guy who did it did such a great job, it turned into an actual trading card.
Oh,
So
wow.
we did 25 of them that were numbered, and we sold out the T-shirts with a collectible card attached to it. And then use that money to help also go to the site to pay for special bells and whistles. But at this point, I'm trying to actually build a brand out of the WTC name. People recognize this logo. I mean, they recognize it and they know what it is. So when I go to conventions with whatever talent I'm working with and I see someone bringing a trading card, I mention WTC, a lot more people than before are like, oh yeah, I use that site all the time. It's like that. They recognize the logo. It's like, well, I tell them who I am. Like, oh, I use your site all the time. And so I'm kind of trying to build a brand off it. Where that's going to lead to, I don't know, but
Sure.
we're working
Well,
on it.
no, that's everything, man. Building a brand. And listen, this whole thing that I do, it's a passion project too. I started my show 2 years ago, but when I started, I had just gotten injured. I do independent wrestling as well, so I just gotten injured, and these guys asked me to do like a pro wrestling podcast with them, the 60-minute Broadway. So I came in as like the color commentary of this 60-minute Broadway show for about a year, and then I was like, man, I just want my own show. So I started my own show in 2020, and here we are. But I truly get the passion projects and the labor of love.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
because if
those.
it's something you love doing and then you end up turning it into some form of work or something like that, and you already love it, then it's not really work,
Right.
And even though it is, I get burned out because I tend to like want to do everything at once. And
Mm-hmm.
I've taken the last 3.5 weeks off, touring, doing a lot of conventions. And so I feel like I have a lot of catching up to do. But then I got good guys on the team that remind me, hey, you had multiple years of stuff to catch up on. We did it all in less than a year. I think you got 3 weeks you can handle.
Sure.
So
No, I'm
they,
with
they
you.
bring me back to earth.
I'm with you on that. So here's a question for you. As a guy that is kind of in the independent scene, not as heavily as I used to be. I just kind of do one show now down in Canton, Georgia, Southern Honor Wrestling. But what is the market in the independent trading card?
So heavy.
Because is there like a company that kind of has taken the reins on that, or is it like, say I wanted to get my own cards made and there's 100 of them? Like how does that work for an independent wrestler? Could they start their own trading card?
Absolutely. There's actually There is a gentleman, a couple of guys actually that design and print cards that have done stuff for PWG, GCW, IWZ. I mean, other companies as well. Um, they've done a lot of stuff, and so anytime some independent company wants to do something, and they reach out to me, I recommend them to these people. Uh, Also, we live in a world now with technology makes it so easy for us to go and print stuff. Like there's websites you can go to that actually you can upload your own stuff, design your own cards, print your own cards. I recommend it. I think it's a cheap, easy way to market yourself, whether it be an individual or as a company. And independent cards are commanding good money right now, like they've never before. Like, the all-in card set is desirable. GCW's Joe Janelli spring break cards are all desirable. The limitless cards are very desirable, extremely hard to come by and command some big money because you've got first appearance of Darby Allens and MGFs and stuff like that there. Um, yeah, independent cards are all the craze right now, and they have been for a couple of years. And that was one of my main things. I wanted to get the website updated because all that information was not. We had some independent stuff from before, but that was 2014 and back. Since then, so many people have been put out so many card sets.
Hmm.
Uh, the debate can go on like, well, these aren't real card sets. They're not a mass produced. They're not from a major company. And I'm not here to tell you what you can and cannot collect or what is real and not real. I'm the reporter. I just report the accidents. That's it. And
Right. No, yeah.
if cards are developed and made and you can get some and I have my access to some, and I don't care if there's only 5 sets that exist or 10 sets that exist or 50 sets or 100 sets, they exist. They need to be archived, whether I have to denote them as unofficial or not, because there's a lot of what I call bootleg card sets out there people produced that are using, images that they don't have any rights to use. They just Google
Gotcha.
something and make a card out of it. And they're just
Sure.
flying under the radar, hoping that, WWE or AEW doesn't get word of it. I mean, it's they exist though, and so I'm in the position where I have to archive it.
Gotcha. So, say there's a company named Southern Honor Wrestling that wanted to put together their Southern Honor Wrestling pro wrestling trading set. They
Sure,
could do that off all the guys that had been there in the past,
absolutely.
even if those guys are like currently signed, like Austin Theory. He's been on Southern Honor Wrestling.
You would
He's got
probably
his.
have to go through and whatever his name was at the time, like the legalities of all that stuff. That's something you'd probably have to go look into because it can change from place to place.
Gotcha.
But you always want to work with the promotion. Promotion should always work with the photographer who took those pictures because they deserve either to write it off and say, yeah, go right ahead, do whatever you want, or say, just throw me a bone or something like that. And then, of course, you guys, the talent, you need to actually say, well, hey, I don't approve this, or I do approve this, or can I pick an image or something like that? I mean, you can supply the image, but if you're going to get somebody who, is currently wrestling now under one name, make sure you use their old name
Gotcha. I gotcha. Makes sense.
because they don't own that name. Vince owns that name.
Sure. Sure. No, that makes complete sense.
Unless you want to go under the radar and just, I mean, it doesn't seem to be a whole lot of action out there. People aren't getting C&Ds left and right. I know of a couple of people, myself included, who've gotten a C&D at some point in time for producing cards, mine from years ago. But sometimes it's about being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Someone sees like, hey, where'd you get that? It's like, well, I work from the legal department for AEW. You can't have that. And then they go down that rabbit
Uh,
hole and find out. Um, I mean, if you can go under the radar, then do it. But I mean, I don't recommend it. I'd recommend just going as legit as possible.
Right. So so for an independent wrestler out there, just kind of break it down real simple, Spark Notes wise. If you wanted to get your own trading card made of yourself so that you could sell at your merch table, what would you do?
Go online. There's several different companies out there that I think one of them's called Make My Trading Card or mytradingcards.com. I think it is. That's a very popular one. You're going to have a designer, whether it be you or someone else. You can make a front and back. A lot of guys like to pay homage to old classic stuff, like especially if it's wrestling. They go, oh, I love that old 1991 Impel looking set, or I like the championship marketing set, or the '87 top set. A lot of guys pay homage to older card sets, or go completely on your own. Design whatever you like, front and back, and then go to that
Gotcha.
website, and it's pretty simple and easy to use. And then it gives you all the price point right there, and how many cards you order. The more you order, the cheaper it gets. Um, I've got a card coming out for my first convention. I got exclusive trading card for my convention coming out in September, and I'm getting a good number of them done. It's pretty inexpensive.
Cool. Well, I guess not too much. Like, what is like a card go? Like one card, how much is it going to pay?
If you
Or how
how
much
much is it
if you
gonna
want to get it done? How
if
much
you
you want
want
to get
if
it
you want
done
to have
for?
one card printed, that's it, just one card,
Yeah.
$4 or $5.
Okay. So the more you get, obviously the price is going to go down for
You order
per
like
card.
100 or something like that, you can get them for under $1. Like
See,
I did an order for my order I'm doing right now for it's in the hundreds, but my order I'm doing for my top rope con is going to probably run me somewhere in the $300 range.
okay. So yeah, that would be great for an independent wrestler for their merch table to get 100 of those, sell them for $5 to $10 a piece, and they're making $4 to $9 a card for the most part. If they're
Yeah,
getting
I mean
100
most guys would sell them for $10 a piece, autographed or whatever. You
Yeah.
can even sell them, say, hey, you know what, if you don't want it signed, you just want to collect, you're a diehard collector and don't want me to ruin it with my signature. I'll sell them for $5. You still come out ahead, and it's a
Yeah.
great way to market yourself. It serves as a collectible for someone who collects, and it also serves as a business card for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes. I'm taking that idea to the boys when they have the next show. That's for sure.
Yeah, if you need any
All right.
help, we can talk offline. I'll help you out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, so where are we going from here? Obviously, you're wanting to build your checklist up. So, I mean, you're looking for the independent stuff. You're trying to dive deep and make sure that you're verifying everything else and all your other sets. What's the play? You want to get the brand out there? What else are you looking to do?
That's what I'm in the process of trying to discover. My wife is like, where's this all going? Because I put a lot of hours into this. And I'm like,
Sure.
well, I'm trying to build something here, honey. I'm not quite sure where it's going. I have a lot of pieces. This is a very big puzzle piece. And I'm just, I got the edges right now. I'm working on the edges. So let me get the edges done first and kind of see what the rest of the picture is going to look like. Because I know it's all here. Maybe it's my convention that I'm doing, which is, my WTC is a sponsor of topropecon.com.
Right.
Maybe that's where I go to this and it becomes something for there. I don't know. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm building a brand somehow with whether I'm going to be producing my own trading cards as a series annually. Am I going to do a clothing line of t-shirts like I did earlier last year? Am I just going to, I'm not sure yet. I just don't know.
Hey, you know what? The key is keep doing it. Keep doing it, staying consistent. I mean, listen, man, you've been doing this for 20 years. I respect the hell out of that. Like that's people don't do something for 20 years, right? And I know you're getting back heavy into it here recently, but still, like the consistency is great.
I mean, technically speaking, December 2nd of this year will be our official 20th anniversary date, December 2nd.
Wow, that's crazy. That's awesome. That's awesome.
It blows my mind when I talk to you or anybody about that. When we talk about how long it's been around, I throw that number out, 20 years. Like, I can't believe it's been that long.
Now you do your own podcast, right?
Yeah.
And is that multiple episodes a week or one episode a week?
I sort of I was doing too many in the beginning, so now I pace myself. So it's I drop a new one drops every Wednesday morning. Okay. So I do one, and then every once in a while I'll sprinkle in an audio version of just what I call WTC shorts, where it's just me, because I'm not good at this stuff. I host a lot of shows, and I did this before. The reason I did this was to talk about wrestling cards, to see if there's still an interest. Do I want to revive the website and bring it up to date? That was clear as day. But two personal things, the reason why I do this is because one, I've always had a fear of being in front of a camera. So that helps me with that. And it also helps me with my speech because I'm a very fast talker. So a lot of times it makes me have to slow down, think about what I'm going to say. And that kind of helps out in real life too. So, but I try to put one out every week. Sometimes I take a week off. But every week, every Wednesdays.
Cool, man. Well, hey, that's consistent. That's a lot more consistent than most people.
And like I said, I'll sprinkle in some WTC, what I call them WTC shorts, where it's just me audio, and it'll be a 5-minute to 10-minute type of thing where I'm talking about something that's just fresh on my mind.
Sure. No, that's really cool. Now, are you doing TikTok, Instagram, any of that stuff as well?
I'm at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Twitter is a hotbed for wrestling cards.
Dude, I think you would blow up on TikTok.
I'm not sure how to do that. I'm not sure.
Dude, okay. So, I don't not always want to like plugs my own show, but I did a show it's like episode 105 or 106 with a guy named Nico. It's Back to Life, Nico's Property Show. Go check it out. Listen to about the last 30 minutes. All we talk about is social media. He has like 3 or 4 accounts that all have almost over 500,000 followers, with his highest one with over 800,000 followers. We went to school together. He's a little bit younger than me. Like, I knew him with 0 followers. All of this is completely organic. And he's like been teaching me the way. He's like, dude, if you're not on TikTok, you've got to get on TikTok. So we got on TikTok. The first week we was on TikTok, got over 75,000 views on 5 videos.
What?
And all it was is clips that I'm taking from the podcast and putting up 1-minute clips on TikTok with like part 1, part 2, part 3. See the full episode over here on YouTube. Subscribers have went up. Dude, it's crazy. I didn't believe it. I hated TikTok. I was too old for TikTok. Didn't want to get on it. Didn't understand it. It's just like anything else you do. You could literally like just put a card right here and do an overlay of like talking about the card and what the set is or whatever. It could just be a picture with your voice. Put these out and you could do like 1-minute checklist on TikTok for each set that you have out there. I swear to people would eat it up. People
so
like me.
It's not like a 15-second type thing. You can do for what's the time frame you have on TikTok?
So there's 15 seconds, 60 seconds, 3 minutes, and live. You can do
which one's the best?
I think the 1 minute. If you can knock something out in 1 minute, usually you're going to keep people's attention for like 20 to 40 seconds on TikTok.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But if you're doing a 1 minute and you got them doing like 50 seconds, like my biggest viewed video, and this is in the past 2 weeks. I had one 2 Sundays ago. My biggest video right now is at 68,000 views. Makes no sense to me. TikTok outperforms every platform I have. Makes no sense to me.
I think you got me sold on it now. You're not the first person to ask about that. I'm like, nah, I'm not interested. I just cut them off. But now I think you might have me sold.
Yeah, so just go to mine, check it out. It's CWG podcast. You'll look at it. Like the first 3 pinned are all over 10,000 views, with the top one being at 68,000.
That's mind blowing.
I got it 2 weeks ago. No, I have.
Oh, you're really new. You're new.
2 weeks ago, I got it. I had 0 followers when I started. I didn't even follow anybody. I just put them up and boom, blew up.
How do you are you able to monetize that?
So I don't know. I monetized on YouTube because you had to get like 1,000
followers
and then like so many watch hours. Yeah. So we're there on that. Not that we get paid, but we're there on that. Now Instagram and all those, I don't even know how to start. Like literally, I just got there 2 weeks ago. I don't have enough followers to get, I believe, monetized on TikTok. I only have like 250 followers in 2 weeks.
Well, I'm wondering if I guess it works hand in hand with YouTube then, because if you're going and using your TikTok and you're cutting things up and sending them over to go check out the full episode on YouTube, those subscribers are going up. You're getting more retention over there, and you're probably raising that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, my views are up on YouTube. Like my retaining views are up on YouTube drastically in the past 2 weeks just because of TikTok. And then there's YouTube Shorts. So I don't know if you're doing YouTube Shorts.
I'm not.
But okay, so YouTube Shorts is pretty much TikTok for YouTube. So you can only do like 60-second videos. So what you do is just put out like 5 of those a day, keep them rolling. Like I've already had one of those do like 4,000 views, which is more views than like any of my episodes get. It makes no sense to me. No sense to me. So I just wanted to pass along the information of
more social media stuff I got to get involved in. That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, it is a challenge though to do, but I would try it. I would give it a shot.
Well, as you should know better than anybody else, and too, that social media is a full-time gig, man. It's just it used to start with a lot of just bathroom time stuff. Like, okay, I'm on the toilet, might as well go ahead and do something. But then now it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, I mean, you can have a whole business on social media if you build a big enough brand.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably maybe that's the avenue to go with WTC.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Well, Tony, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
I know you've had a crazy weekend. I'm sure you're exhausted, tired, ready to hit
I'm a bit tired, but you know what? Start talking about wrestling cards. It seems to kind of revive me a little bit. So
there you go. Well, I'm glad I was able to, get you a little peaked up there before bedtime. Now you're going to be up till midnight and you're not going to be able to go to sleep.
I got guest announcements to make. We're announcing a guest for our show tonight. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, we got. I can plug that? I'm assuming.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, plug everything you want.
Running my first show ever. It's going to be September 16th and 17th in Tampa, Florida, at the Florida State Fairgrounds Expo Hall. It is Top Rope Wrestling Con, which you can go to topropecon.com. We have announcements. We've been doing them about once a week, and now we have a lot of guests that we have to get done here in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So we're going to be doing like maybe 2 to 3 a week right now. Cool. Way more guests than I expected, but we have some really good names coming. Right now, we've already announced we have. Who we have? We got Moose. We've got Heath Slater. Got Kevin Nash. Got Kurt Angle. We've got Deanna Prazo. We got Steve Macklin. Who else we have announced so far? I have some really good names, some big names that we can't announce yet because contractually we have to wait until a certain time frame. So, but
Cool.
we're gonna announce a new name tonight, and then and just keep building up from that. So topropecon.com, and then for WTC stuff, everything is available on wrestlingtradingcards.com. All of our social media platforms and links are on the bottom of every single page on the site. So probably soon TikTok is coming apparently.
Dude, I'm telling you, if I don't see TikTok, I'm gonna be knocking on your door every day. Hey man, TikTok.
I might need it.
Hey, what was the date for the Tampa conference?
Tampa show is going to be September 16th and 17th. It's a Friday and Saturday. It's at the Florida State Fairgrounds.
Is there an admission price?
Right now, it's prices will go up. Right now for kids, which is 3 to 13, I believe, it's $5. And then adults for Saturday, it's 25, and on Friday, it's 20.
Okay. And I guess you're able to get your autograph by all these guests that are going to be
there.
there.
There's individual autographs. You can go a la carte and buy stuff. We have we do have a Kurt Angle special up there. It'll be very, very limited for a VIP package where you get to go inside the ring with Kurt. You'll get to have your photo taken with him inside the ring, get things autographed, get a special collector card, autograph version card, and get in early as well.
Well, hey man, that's awesome. Best of luck to you in that show.
Thank you.
I hope it sells out both nights. You crush it, and then we can get you back on here and talk about it after it's over.
We have live wrestling on Saturday night as well.
Who is it?
A company called not GCW that everybody knows. You know, and another company called GCW, Generational Wrestling. GCW, and they're having some sort of other. There's
they're
my partners,
Tampa, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So they're also one of our big sponsors. So shout out to those guys, and also shout out to 98.7 The Shark out of Tampa. These guys are our sponsors. Card Foundation is one of our sponsors. Excellent podcast, by the way, to check out. If you guys want a weekly podcast about wrestling cards, Card Foundation podcast is the place to go to. I really think. Check out Wrestling with Cards. Zan Morning's got an amazing show every week. And then, of course, we got WTC on YouTube as well, wrestlingtradingcards.com.
So that's kind of the wrestling community when it comes to the trading card game.
When it comes to if you want information on wrestling cards, you're going to go to wrestlingtradingcards.com or the Wrestling Card Price Guide, which we work together for our podcast as well. Zan has his own show for Wrestling with Cards. He and I also work together for a separate podcast called Worlds Collide. And then you also have Card Foundation podcast, which is an amazing podcast itself every week. They just do great stuff. I love it. I guest hosted for them last week, which was
cool.
An honor.
Well, cool, man. Well, hey, if you got any buddies, they want to come on the show, that you think they'd be interested in doing something like this, reach out to them. Let them know to head on over to the CWG podcast, man. I'd love to talk wrestling with them. I really appreciate you coming on, man. Best of luck in the show. I'll reach back out to you. Maybe we can get back on the show after it's over.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, real quick, we got one more question from Travis Trueblood. So he said, what is Tony's unicorn wrestling card?
My unicorn wrestling card. My unicorn wrestling card used to be a card that I had in my collection. I wish I had back. We all go through different types of situations in our life. So, I had a lot of stuff. I held on to it. I scanned it. I used it as checklist information for the website. Then you go, kind of have some financial problems. And so what do you got to go to? Well, I got to go to some of these things because they're, worth some money. Yeah. So I used to own a Farouk knee brace card that was extremely limited and rare from the 2001 championship clash from Fleer. I'd love to have that back, or the Hurricane mask card I used to have too, which was limited to 11 or 12 pieces. Piece of his mask on a card. I mean, a lot of guys would probably say All-Stars, and I do regret selling those too. I sold my Hogan, my Flair, my Andre. I sold them. I made good money. My ROI on that stuff was good. Not good what it is worth today, but it was good. I would love to have those back, but something about the Fleer years that really appealed to me when I was really heavy collecting a lot. And that Farouk knee brace card, as oddball as it may be, is probably one of my favorite cards I've ever had.
God, well, hey man, I hope you get it back. All right, I hope you find your unicorn card. But I'm gonna let you get out of here. I'm gonna bounce off too. I appreciate you coming to the show, and we'll check you out next time. See you, brother.
Thank you so much.
Yep. All right, guys. So that was Tony from Wrestling Trading Cards. Hey, it was really cool. Really cool to get to see him do his thing, talk about all the wrestling cards, something that I haven't been able to really talk in depth with anybody. He knows what he's talking about. So go check him out. Go to the conference if you're in Tampa. That'd be really cool. And hey, check us out next time on Chat with Gunner podcast. Again, this is live LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Share this, like this, get it out there to everybody. And then go to the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because that's how you let me know that you actually care about it. All right. Appreciate it. See you later.